Welcome to the Veterans Voice, where we highlight programs and services that support our veterans. I'm Tim Stroud, and this is Colton, the Wonder Dog. In the past 2 years, I've been blessed to have Colton by my side, and my service dog is a large part of why I'm paired up with him. We're here with Allie Keaton from My Service Dog, Inc., and she's going to tell us a little bit more about the program. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And I know you've partnered up with Easter Seals Services of Houston to provide service dogs to veterans. Tell the community what goes through part of that program.
Well, there's a lot to it, a lot more than people can imagine. What goes through that program is if the veteran qualifies for a service dog and has a need for a service dog, anything from PTSD all the way up to quadriplegic, then we partner them up with a puppy. We start with babies, and we train that baby to fit that veteran's specific needs.
And if I'm not incorrect, it's a 2-year process of when you select that canine and the human to go with each other?
Well, we select the human first.
Okay.
And then it can be up to a 2-year process depending on what the needs of the veteran is, as well as how quickly they can learn. Because if they can learn really, really quickly and bond and listen to us, and then they can start having their dog with them on a regular basis more often. So it could take about a year.
Okay, gotcha. Because a lot of people, they see Colton, they're like, oh, so handsome. They're like, so fluffy, I want to pet it. And then first of all, we teach our humans, don't let everybody pet your dog. That is a service dog, not a therapy dog, right?
Correct.
And service dogs are covered under the Americans with Disability Act, the ADA. And that means that legally, when a bald guy walks into a restaurant with a dog, they can ask 2 legal questions. And what are those, Allie?
Well, they can ask, is that dog a service dog? And you can say yes. And then they can ask, what task does that dog perform for you?
And this is a key word, task, because a lot of people are trained, see what I did there? There's to say, what tricks does the dog perform, right?
Yeah, we don't do tricks.
Exactly right. Service dogs provide tasks. And tell our viewers a little bit of what Colton can do.
Well, Colton was actually trained for someone else before he came to you. Colton was trained for a young lady with muscular dystrophy. So Colton can do everything from, and besides helping you when you have issues, keeping you from having meltdowns, he's also, and being an advocate for service dogs, he can also get a drink out of the refrigerator. He can completely undress you. He can do everything but unbutton a button. He can unzip zippers, unsnap snaps. He can open and shut doors and gates. He can go get things for you, anything that you ask for. He knows just hundreds of items. He can also change the channel on the TV in case you haven't figured that one out in the last couple of years you've had him. But he also does, he knew 911 procedures. He had a 911 button that he could push in case, and he could go get help. He also could pull things. He could help pull her up using a special harness, as well as carry items and retrieve items.
It sounds like the list is going to go on and on for Colton.
You got to stop me.
And I love what you've done with him. And after the break, we're going to find out how veterans can run with a pack.
HCC. So many careers, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
I've seen people's lives change just by attending a class at HCC.
Some of them might not have the financial means to go to a 4-year university. That doesn't make them any less quote-unquote smart than the kids who go to a 4-year school.
HCC is easy to get to. It's easy to apply and easy to become a part of.
It gave me so much confidence.
Once you finish your 2 years there, you can transition into a 4-year university or go into the workforce.
It's affordable, it's accessible, it changes lives.
HCC. So many reasons, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. In our last segment, we were talking with Allie Keaton from My Service Dog, and she was telling us a few things about Colton the Wonder Dog and what he can do. And Allie, I want to talk a little bit more about Colton, but I want to dive into what Colton does for veterans after they transition, because so many of our veterans, they come back with the invisible wounds. And people look at him and be like, there's nothing wrong with you. But they're scared to go into classes at school. They're scared to go into groups. But Colton has been trained by you to help veterans make that transition. Can you talk about that, please?
Well, when I do work with veterans and their service dogs, that is one of the things that we really work on overcoming. I get the veteran out there with their dogs, and I've used Colton and I use my other dogs to get out there in public with them to let them know that when they start having that stressful time, that the dog leans into them. Colton puts his head on their lap or gives them the puppy dog eyes, or my Amelia, she'll lean into them and let them know, hey, 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 until they start paying attention to her and petting her. All of a sudden the crowd and everybody around them just disappears, and now they're paying attention to the dog.
I absolutely love it. And speaking of crowds, Colton and Amelia and the other dogs that you train, we were just at the Houston Zoo for the annual Walk With Me with Easter seals. About 3,000 people showed up, and a couple of them wouldn't have showed up without their service dogs. And people were asking me, like, you sure you can take your dog inside the Houston Zoo? And of course, all you do is register your service dog and show them the proper credentials, and in you go. Colton did so well, but he also shines when it comes to restaurants. And tell everybody a little bit about the training that you do for Colton and the other service dogs.
Well, they're trained to go underneath the table, and if they can't get underneath the table, then they're trained to get in an out-of-the-way place. We do have fire hazards and things of that we need to worry about, but all of our dogs are trained to go in underneath the table and get out of the way, as well as if there's any food dropped on the floor or a plate of food, big old steamy steak could be stuck right underneath their nose, they will completely turn away from it. They won't even look at it. Oh, no, no, no.
Otherwise they fail, right?
They will fail.
And
that's a first on our test.
I love it, because I've seen people sneak in little Fifi and a little purse or something and then feed them from the table. That's a big no-go, right?
Big, big no-no.
All right. And with that, you've got 2 of the tests that you advocate all of your service dogs to pass. Let's talk about those.
Well, we start with the AKC CGC Canine Good Citizen test.
Okay.
And we do them in combination. The other one is a public access test. And these tests say that these dogs can be in public, they're mannerly, they pay attention to their handler, they are there for a reason. They're working dogs. They're not pets for everybody to run around and pet, even though during the test they do get petted. Mm-hmm. They have to sit quietly to be petted. And we do let our dogs get petted occasionally, because sometimes our vets and people with issues need to pet our dogs.
Right, and people forget it's a service dog, but guess what? The last part of that, they're a dog.
Exactly, and other people have needs, and sometimes they fulfill other people's needs as well. But being in a restaurant, very strict. We do not allow people to give them food, give them water. We don't allow them to lick the floor, sniff the floor, nothing.
Perfect. Thank you, Allie. I appreciate that. And after the break, we're going to discover how veterans are both learners and teachers at HCC.
I learned how to cook from my grandmother in the mountains of Oaxaca. Every time I need some comfort, I just remember what she told me. HCC definitely was a turning point in my life. What those wonderful teachers and instructors taught me is priceless. I have won many awards and worked in many restaurants. HCC was the window which opened the opportunity for me. For this wonderful city, they have given me so much. I will thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I don't know an industry today that doesn't rely on some amount of coding to run their business. coding is the 21st century equivalent of the English language. And our particular flavor of this is the iOS Coding and Design School. And Apple's been very supportive and in fact joined with us to roll out the start of this Swift programming initiative. So it's a great opportunity to combine creativity with science and technology, contributing to this app economy.
Welcome back to the Veterans Voice. HCC's advanced manufacturing programs offer returning veterans an opportunity to start new careers in civilian sectors. But students in the machining technology program might find they have more in common with their faculty than they expected. Sean Trumbo, program coordinator, joins us today, and I just found out you're a devil dog.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your service. And thank you for what well, I'll take one of those. There you go. That's just the natural feeling, right? It's like, yes, throw out the hand. Let's do it. Oh, don't call me sir. I work for a living. you know what's going on. So many of our veterans are getting out of the service, and man, they're just like that. They're a little scared to move forward. It's like, I'm not sure which way to go, but you and your program, you guys can show them some direction. So let's talk about that.
When I was getting out of service when my contract ended, they tell you about all the different programs and colleges helping veterans and stuff like that, but it's still a scary time. Most veterans, enlisted straight out of high school, and that's all they've known for years.
Right.
So it's a little bit scary, and there's just a lot of information thrown at you. What we try to do is, HCC in general has the veterans organizations and stuff like that to help everybody get through. Our program's really good for veterans because a lot of veterans like to work with their hands.
Right, and you've got a special fit because when you got out of the Corps, you went back overseas. You did what a lot of us really wanted to do. You basically did similar mission, but you got paid a whole lot more for it, right?
Yes, sir.
So you brought 2 of those experiences back to Houston, and you teach veterans how to work with their hands, their head, and their heart, and take a step forward.
Correct.
So let's take a look at that. What exactly, when they talk to HCC, what's the first step for them?
The first step, of course, is getting set up in the college. You get your account and everything so you can sign up for classes. It can be a little overwhelming because it's hard for people that have never been in service or dealt with service to relate to veterans sometimes, and it's hard for veterans to relate to them. That was one thing that I had an issue with when I come to HCC for my associates.
But now they've changed it. They actually have a veterans program.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And it's really nice because they do try to work with veterans, get everybody together in groups, let them know that, hey, you're not the only veteran here. There's other people that can relate to your experiences and everything, and kind of ease your way back into civilian life.
Right. That's one of the great things that the military does. They put guys like us together, and it's like, all right, you're going to work together on a team. We have that esprit de corps, that commonality, and then we've got 4 or 5 of our buddies with us. And then as we're transitioning out, we look at the civilian sector over here, and they're like, psst, hey, there's 2 jobs over there. Whoever gets to those first, get the jobs.
Correct.
And when you've got families, now everything that we learned in the military, we kind of cast it aside because we're supposed to go out and get those jobs and take care of our families. The programs here teach our veterans to band back together, take the courses, and really move forward.
They do.
Any quick success stories you want to talk about?
We did have a student come through about a year ago.
Okay.
He was a homeless veteran. He was homeless for quite a while, and he got with the VA, and the VA got him a place to live, got him cleaned up, got him a job, put him in the program. Last I talked to him, he was doing fairly well.
Man, see, that's a great success story. We need more of those, so we've got to have veterans go to the website, and we're going to post that on the website today, or on the news, so they can get that one. And if you'd like more information on this program or any of the ones that you've seen today, please visit the website at hccs.edu/Veterans Voice. For everyone here at HCC TV and everyone at Easter Seals of Greater Houston, thank you for joining us on the Veterans Voice.